Genesis 3:8 follows Adam and Eve's realization of their nakedness after eating the forbidden fruit, Genesis 3:7. In response to their newfound shame, they attempt to cover themselves with fig leaves. Now, as God approaches, their reaction further reveals the impact of their sin: fear, hiding, and separation from their Creator. Verse 8, "And they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God amongst the trees of the garden." Key phrases: they heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden. In the cool of the day, the man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God. Among the trees of the garden. In Hebrew, the concepts for these phrases are as follows. 1. They heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden. Vayishmv. Et kvol yiva Elohim mithale kh bagan, vayishmeu et kol yahajwa Elohim mithalek bagan, vayishmeu vayishem vi, and they heard, indicating an awareness of God's presence. Et kol ahadwa Elohim, et kvol yiva Elohim, the sound of the Lord God, which could refer to his voice or his movement. Mithalek bagan, mithalek kh bagan, walking in the garden, suggesting a personal and relational presence of God. 2. In the cool of the day, Laruach hayam. Laruach can mean in the wind or breath, possibly referring to the evening breeze. Hayam, havam, of the day, indicating the time, traditionally understood as late afternoon or early evening. 3. The man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God. Vayichabe ha'adam vishto mipne ywa Elohim. Vayichabe, and hid themselves, showing fear and avoidance. Ha'adam vishto, the man and his wife, emphasizing that both participated in this response. Mipne Yahweh Elohim, mipne iva Elohim, from the presence of the Lord God, signifying separation from God's intimate fellowship. 4. Among the trees of the garden. Bitvo kh ets hagan, bitok etz hagan, bitvo kh, among or in the midst of, implying an attempt to conceal themselves. Etz hagan, ets hagan, the trees of the garden, highlighting their use of creation to hide from the Creator. They heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden. This suggests that God's presence was manifest in a personal, tangible way. Before the fall, this likely represented communion with God. However, now his approach brings fear rather than comfort. In the cool of the day. This phrase may indicate the evening time when breezes blow, a moment traditionally associated with peace and rest. Ironically, instead of finding peace, Adam and Eve experience dread. The man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God. This is the first recorded instance of humans attempting to hide from God. The act of hiding signifies their guilt and shame, showing that sin leads to a broken relationship with God. Among the trees of the garden, the very environment that once provided joy and fellowship with God now becomes a place of concealment. Rather than turning to God for help, Adam and Eve try to escape his presence, illustrating humanity's tendency to withdraw from God after sinning. This verse marks the first consequence of sin beyond internal shame. It disrupts Adam and Eve's relationship with God. Instead of seeking him, they flee, showing that sin distorts our perception of God, turning him from a loving Creator into someone to be feared and avoided. Yet, despite their hiding, God will soon call out to them, demonstrating his desire for restoration rather than abandonment.